Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program with me, JD Colley. As you can see, we have just finished our run around the KSC for science, and we pulled back a whopping 115. That's pretty darn good for not actually leaving the area surrounding the KSC. In fact, I don't think we really ever went on the flat ground for the most part. We crossed it once there, and once there. That's about it. So yeah, we brought back 46 experiments. Yeah, they weren't worth anything really individually, but there was a lot of them. So we are pretty good to go. And Bob got some experience for turning in all that science. He's pretty pleased about that. So now we can grab our next things we wanted. The aviation stuff and the flight control, which is excellent. And we have enough almost to grab our next node, which is also pretty good. I think we'll probably head into the advanced rocketry following this. Or basic science. That is a difficult choice because if we get the basic science, well, no, it's not a difficult choice. We're going to go for basic science, followed by advanced rocketry. Alrighty, so let's get building some planes. And here we are. This is the Leapfrog Mark 1. It's a fairly weak little craft, but it should get the job done. Yeah, nothing special about it. It's got the cone of lift slightly behind the cone of mass. Air intakes, jet engine. Yeah, it should fly, I hope. So let's find out. And I will say, this is normally something I would never do, especially prior to version 1.0. Because you see, this is Jeb. I hate putting any of my first 3 and now 4 Kerbals inside of an aircraft, because airplanes, the things that go on the runways rather than the things that go on the launch pad, are insanely dangerous. It's crazy. Like, compared to a rocket, aircraft are so utterly lethal. It's amazing. So normally I would have hired somebody, but I can't afford that because nowadays Kerbals are really expensive, like 60,000 credits or whatever, Kerbal bucks initially. That's just the start. It's really bad. So, oh wow, that thing flies pretty well. I'm pleased. See, this is, by the way, in case you don't know, these controls, the reason they work is because of RasterPropMonitor, which is awesome. I love that mod. So excellent. And also, oh no. I have a camera, but it appears to be upside down, which is sad. Oh well, we'll just ignore that then. Could probably tune down our input a little. And head on over to the airfield. Now, this is not a difficult mission, but I don't think I have any other... No, I didn't take any other contracts. I upgraded my mission control right before starting this flight, so we can now take up to 7 contracts, and I have a few of them. Visit the island, test the Mark 1 command pod in flight, which should be very easy because it's at a velocity that I would be at between those altitudes. So I can just test it on a normal flight. Rockomax brand decoupler just on the launch pad, easy. Launch pad, test, and still got the unmanned flyby because I was silly and took that when I really shouldn't have. But that's okay. It's got forever left, I don't know, a long time. And we have to fly by it first anyway, so why not? And now I warn you, I am really terrible at flying aircraft. Yeah, there's a reason that a lot of Kerbals have died at my command in aircraft. It's because I suck at this really bad. So ideally what'll happen is I'll land this aircraft, we'll get out, check all the stuff, and we'll fly really fast back on over there, land, and recover for full value. But the reality is that I'm probably going to crash, and if he survives at all, he'll barely live through this, and yeah, it'll be bad. So let's just come on in. I'm not going to do this IVA. I have done in the past when I've been a bit more confident. I have done IVA flights, which are very fun in my opinion. Oh, nope. No. Okay. I've done some spaceplane runs, specifically IVA, which were very cool. Okay. I'm going to turn on the brakes. Go down so we get to the runway real quick, and then flare up. Oh, up. Oh, wow, that was a smooth touchdown. But we're going to run out of runway. Come on. Pop the chutes. Nope, 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 no! Up, don't crash. Okay. Well, we're live. So, yeah, I'm going to get this thing over there, and I'll probably do that in accelerated speed because you don't want to watch all that. It'll be boring. And I will see you in a minute. So fortunately I was able to get that little plane back up the hill, as you shall see, and over to the control tower and that Mark whatever command pod. I don't know, Mark 0 command pod? It's from a much older version of KSP than I ever played. I think I started in version 0.23 maybe? I remember 0.23 or 0.23.5 being released, but I don't recall anything before that specifically. Anyway, it's not relevant. But yeah, so I don't really know anything about that. I just know it's a legacy item that some people have very nostalgic and fond memories of that I don't really know anything about. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about here briefly while I'm doing this little mission is what you can expect from the series. Like, where am I going with this? I'm hoping, as I go through this series, to really kind of set up multiple layers of missions. I want to be sending, I don't want to just send a mission like to Duna, you know. An episode, oh, we go to Duna, where you send a mission up, we shoot it on over there using time acceleration, we do the mission, we come home maybe the next episode. None of that. I want to have it where I send the mission up, we get it started on its way, and then we have another mission that has a window open ready for Elu. We head out there, we've got a supply mission or a science mission we're sending up to our space station. Then we do that, we do some mining and load up the fuel for another, just all this stuff happening simultaneously, just a very active world. For this, we're going to need a lot of rescued Kerbals because I can't afford to hire them, and we're going to have a lot of space stations and things because we're going to need places for people to be able to be while these things are happening, where we can have sustainable life support, because I have TAC life support on this, and they're not going to be able to just sit there waiting for me. So yeah, I'm hoping to have space stations. Definitely one around Kerbal, or Kerbin, sorry. I don't think I'll have one around Kerbal. That'd be pretty impressive. Maybe one around Inmis for sure, for refueling, things like that. So anyway, we're coming back up on the KSC, I think. So yeah, that's basically what I'm hoping to do with this. I hope you guys are interested in that. So let me know what you think in the comments. And back to old me right here. Alright, so I'm not going to show the build for this, but this is the rocket that I came up with. I've decided to try and get a Kerbal into orbit because we've already sent a probe there, and we really need more science, and there's lots of science to be had there, and we have some new science modules as well, and in orbit is the best place to use them. That's where we're going to get the most back from them anyway, so, well, of the places we can currently reach. As we can see right here, we are pushing this really close. Like, this is the absolute max for weight and parts, and just only a meter and or 1.6 meters short of what we can maximally fit in our VAB right now. So this is a very close rocket. I don't know if it's going to make it to orbit. It should, in theory, have the delta V, and it has the power to weight ratio, but I might not be able to fly it very well. So let's get out there and find out. Okay, we're out here on the launch pad. It's a beautiful night, as you can see. Oh yes, very, very pretty. And we'll just reset the camera there. I have Valentina today, rather than Jeb. I'm not really sure why, I just happened to pick her. And we don't have any contracts I think I can complete right now, so without further ado, I guess we shall launch. And the power to weight ratio is not fantastic, obviously, on this. 1.3 only, so it takes a second to get off the launch pad, but it will do it. And hopefully, it'll get us going fast enough. Obviously, with 1.0, for those very few people who haven't found this out yet, with the new aerodynamic changes, you have to change your ascent profile drastically compared to what you used to do. Originally, you used to turn over at 10 kilometers, you'd go straight up and then turn at 10 kilometers, but now, you gently begin your gravity turn just as you ascend normally. So you try and basically do 10 degrees in 10 kilometers. It's not exact, and you want to backload that. You want to put more of the turn on the end of that 10 kilometers than on the front, but in general, that's what you want to do. Ideally, what you want to do is follow this velocity vector on your nav ball right there, and it should just gently turn you over. But I don't have the SAS ability yet to follow my prograde vector, and I can't use my flight computer because, well, I don't have a computer on this. It's just Valentina by herself. So yeah, we're not going to be doing that. I'd love to be able to, but we can't. So also, since this vessel does not have fantastic power to weight, I'm not going to be as aggressive with the gravity turn as I could be. The better your power to weight ratio, the more aggressive you can be with it. And I've had vessels in this new aerodynamic system that have been able to get into orbit at the same time they circularize. Like, that's how nice their gravity turn was. It was fantastic. Saved a ton of delta V too. But we're not quite there with this one. Anyway, and I'm not going to worry about getting my inclination at 0. It doesn't really matter right now. It's pretty close actually, but it's not like I'm rendezvousing with anything, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to go up and come back down. So we'll just keep that on there as much as we can. We're going to keep it in our velocity vector so that we don't have any nasty surprises. Because I'm sure those who are veterans of the series, or not series, of the game, had some nasty, nasty shocks when they first came into 1.0. I know I did, where I was trying to launch a rocket and I'd get it up here and all of a sudden it would just flip. And the reason is because the velocity vector is going like this. It's more horizontal, and you're turned upwards with your capsule more into the airstream, so it's trying to flip you over. If you're looking at my mouse, what it's doing. So, okay, we're doing fine. I'm not used to flying without assistance, like with it. I don't have computers fly for me. I don't have like MechJeb fly for me. I can do that, and I don't mind doing it. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not something I particularly enjoy. I'm not like morally opposed to it or anything, but the thing is I am very much used to using the data readouts from those things, like your apoapsis and periapsis and inclination, all that jazz. Very, very useful. And we'll cancel that. Just go to our map mode. We can't make maneuver nodes yet because we haven't upgraded our tracking station, and for those who may not know this, it's not just your tracking station you have to upgrade. If you want to be able to make maneuver nodes, you need to upgrade both your tracking station and your mission control. If you only upgrade one, well, if you upgrade your mission control, you'll be able to get 7 contracts, but you will not have waypoints. And if you only upgrade your tracking station, then you'll have the patched conics, but you'll still not have any waypoints. And a lot of people think that it's just the tracking station, but it's not. You need both of them. So that's actually what we're going for right now. It's kind of a secondary, or not secondary, it's a roundabout way to do this. I'm trying to get enough science to get the next science node, which is advanced rocketry, so that I can get up into higher orbits, shoot myself over to the moon, and also fulfill a couple contract orbits for satellites. And that way we can make some serious bank, actually. Once you start being able to do those contract missions for satellite deployment, oh boy, the money starts rolling in, because once you get a good satellite build with a cheap launcher, because you can make a fairly cheap launcher that can get a satellite up into orbit no problem. Once you've created that consistently, it's not a problem at all to just start pumping them out. You'll get 80,000 credits, but for a 20,000 credit launch, which you might be able to recover more than half of. It's really, really profitable very, very quickly, and for us, very valuable, because we need to be doing remote tech building. We're going to have to be building a satellite network around Kerbal. I'm hoping to start with a geostationary satellite at 2,868,000 kilometers is approximately geostationary orbit. It's, I think, 750 extra or something. I don't know, something like that. The ideal way to do it is have something like either Kerbal Engineer and or MechJeb and get in approximately that orbit, circularize, and then get your orbital period, which is the time it takes for you to complete one full rotation, oops, I went too far, to get that orbital period to 6 hours exactly, because that's how long it takes for Kerbal to orbit, or to rotate. So you'll be orbiting at exactly the same speed. which is very nice. And that way, anything on this half of the hemisphere will be able to have radio contact with the KSC. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We are now in orbit. Oh, and our stage was recovered successfully, which means we did not... Oh, wow. 11,000 credits. That was definitely worth it. That was half the cost of this mission. I think this thing cost like 22, 23, or something like that. And we'll grab all this beautiful science. A lot of these, what are they called? Sounding rocket science modules. They don't have much flavor text for the atmosphere ones, but they're kind of funny for what they do have. Also, we cannot do EVAs right now because I have not upgraded my astronaut complex. But when we do that, we'll be able to do EVAs. And also, for the same reason, we cannot currently plant flags or take surface samples. So that's definitely a priority once we start looking at going to the moon and Minmus. Okay. We have now taken our science samples. We'll toggle our magnetometer. Now you may notice there's not technically a heat shield on this vessel. There is a reason for this. I couldn't afford it on the weight. I was not certain I'd make it into orbit, and actually if we look at my orbit again, it's a 82 by 76 orbit, which is not too high, not bad, but not too high, and I'm down to very little fuel. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it if I had included a heat shield, and more importantly, I did not have the parts. I remember I was at 30 out of 30, and that would have required 2 more for the heat shield and the decoupler. So instead, we're going to try and use our engine as a heat shield, and well, it's worked in the past for me, and honestly, the game's stock reentry heating is not very aggressive. It won't do much to you, honestly. I much prefer like 0.25 and 0.90 versions of Deadly Reentry, but currently the version of Deadly Reentry, it's Deadly Reentry Continued. I don't really like it very much because it doesn't use the method the old system worked by, which created the reentry heating basically from scratch. Instead, this one creates the reentry heating by just decreasing the mass of your ship for the calculations of the heating. It's not actually decreasing the mass of your ship, it's just for the calculations involved in how fast your ship heats up. It decreases that instead because the lighter an object is, the less massive an object is, the faster it will heat up, because it's not changing the volume, but it is decreasing the weight, and it means that you're anyway, I suck at math, but basically you heat up faster, but the problem is it has some weird side effects with things like space planes, which I love space planes, so that makes me very sad. So I think that should probably be good. We'll save that last little bit of fuel for any emergency changes we need to make, and let's just zip straight on down, and hopefully Valentina doesn't die. Because, that would be sad, and I would really prefer not to have that happen. Also, we have our wonderful little universal storage, material study bays, and mystery goos, which are wonderful. I love them so much. Some people think it's kind of cheaty because it makes both of them so much smaller and easier to use, but I genuinely don't care. So yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it. And it also has many other things that are really useful, one of which we'll definitely be making use of here soon, which is the alkaline storage cell. It basically I think it uses like hydrogen and water or something, or hydrogen and oxygen, and it converts them into water, and in the process releases electricity or something. I don't know the conversion. It's using the chemical reaction, but it creates electricity for you with the byproduct of water, which is kind of nice since we have TAC life support. But the electricity is the big part, because it means that we have a fuel cell that will operate even when we're in the night side of things, which means we can operate probes on the dark side of the moon and survive on the dark side of Kerbal when things are orbiting close, stuff like that. It's very, very useful, and that is a universal storage item, so definitely be making use of that. I should probably set my parachutes up. If there's a way to set these to stay set up like this, I don't know it, so if anyone knows, please tell me. but I like to set it about there, copy to other chutes, close, and oh, let's arm that. I'm not deploying them, I'm arming them. I've set them to deploy at about 5,000 or 1,500 meters up, and so they'll deploy on their own. I no longer have to do anything. If you notice, they're blue over here, so they're now active, just not deployed. And the reason they have them deploying so low is to prevent them from tearing, because I also have real chutes installed, which means they encounter reentry heating or basically any velocity above about 300 meters per second, they're going to rip right off. So, yeah. And honestly, anything entering Kerbin's atmosphere is not going to be going 300 meters per second when it reaches the altitudes that you can use parachutes at anyway, unless it's like a bullet. I mean, not like a literal bullet, like a ship that's, extremely aerodynamic and moving perpendicular to the ground, just like straight down at it or something. I don't know. You'd have to work to get it to do that, because most objects will slow down by then. But I hope we don't land on the mountains. I'm getting worried now. Are we going to land on the mountains? I guess I can speed this up, huh? I had a incredibly harrowing landing in my other career save just a little while ago, where I miscalculated and landed dead just smack on those mountains, right on the top. And I was very, very fortunate that I was able to actually have SAS hold Jeb steady, so it basically landed and just stopped. And nobody died, which was great. See, will this hold? Yes, okay, so we have a successful heat shield here. We're going to lose our battery possibly, but nobody cares about that. And I don't think we're going to land on the mountains. In fact, we might even land at the KSC. It is possible that we'll pull that off. I don't usually land successfully. The only reason I'm even trying is because my recovery mod gives you more money if you land closer to the KSC. And actually, we're so close now, it's irrelevant. I could land anywhere you can see right now and would probably get upwards of 90% recovery rate. But where we're going to land, I'm pretty sure we're going to get like 97 or higher. So this is very good. Valentina's coming straight home, although we'll probably lose our engine. I don't know. We'll probably lose something, unless I burn right there at the end. And I don't know what the thrust to weight ratio is in atmosphere. I don't think this thing's very efficient in atmosphere. I could be wrong. I didn't pay much attention to the atmospheric statistics, because I didn't intend to use it in the atmosphere very much. So here we go. Parachute should deploy in a couple seconds. And boom. Oh, there we go. They deploy. And they deploy slowly, which is so scary. I hate this. Slow down. I always panic, because it just seems like you're going to slam into the ground every time. But you usually don't, unless it's too big. I mean, then you slam to the ground because it was too big. But, ooh, 10 meters per second. That's a bit swift, isn't it? So we're going to, right now. Oh, no. Ah! Nope, nope. Oh, bugger. That was my fault. Oh, well. What did we lose? Oh, we lost a science experiment. I think that's it, though. Is it? Yeah, we just lost that one science experiment. The orange one. Oh well. And with that, I'm going to have to cut the episode off here, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And I read my comments, so if there's anything you want to let me know about, please tell me. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.